Hey guys, welcome to today's video. We're going to be going over the Cincinnati Bengals and what we can expect from them at pick number 5. What they should do, how they should go about their business, who they should draft. We're going to be breaking that all down in today's video. Also, before we get started, please drop a quick like and a sub on today's video. I'd really appreciate it. Help my channel grow. Also, I'm looking to maybe doing some MLB, NHL, and NBA content. What do you guys think about that? Leave your thoughts on that in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. And with that said, I hope you enjoy the video, and let's dive right into it. So these are how this video is going to start. So we're going to go over the different options that I think the Cincinnati Bengals need to consider in the NFL draft. Number 1, draft Penei Sewell. Okay, this offensive line is not good. It's not. Okay, it's one of the worst in the NFL. Jonah Williams at left tackle was, okay, but you know what? Go out and get draft Penei Sewell, put him at left tackle, move Jonah Williams into guard. You've got two really young guys you can build around. Penei Sewell is one of those elite offensive linemen that you just don't see, okay? And I've talked about it in my former videos I think I talked about it in the Jets video, in the Dolphins video. I talked about it in those videos. Penei Sewell is a special talent, really special guy, okay? So you need to go out and get a guy like Penei Sewell if he's available at 5. I don't know if he's going to be available at 5 because he's one of those talents that you don't see drop. I mean, you see these offensive linemen come and go every few years that, good offensive linemen. I mean, Penei Sewell is one of those guys. But, Penei Sewell is one of those elite offensive linemen that you only see a few times in a generation. I mean, he's got Quentin Nelson-like hype in a way. I mean, perhaps even more. He might be even a better prospect coming out of college than a guy like Quentin Nelson, who obviously is an all-pro offensive guard. And he was a guard, right? Tackles typically might go higher than interior offensive linemen. And Sewell is one of those guys that you can definitely get. He's one of those guys where maybe you just trade up with the Dolphins, right? Trade up with the Dolphins, move up to 3 to make sure you get him. Because I think that a guy like Penei Sewell, I mean, he is going to be in demand. You don't see players like him just grow off the trees. They don't, right? He's one of those special talents at the tackle position, and you need to protect Joe Burrow at all costs. He's got weapons. I mean, Joe Burrow has good receivers. He's got a good running back. It's just, can you protect him? And Sewell is one of those guys that could be great in protecting him. Obviously, I think Sewell's probably a better run blocker than pass protector, but he did both at a very high level at Oregon. But I think Penei Sewell is a dream pick for the Cincinnati Bengals at number 5. So the second option for me is trading back. If Penei Sewell isn't there, trade back, because I don't really know if there's anyone else at number 5 that is really worth the Bengals' time. So trade back. Okay, trade back to 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Don't go too far back because you still want good talent. But trade back, get another first-round pick maybe. Go get another second-rounder. Who knows? Okay, trade back. I think that's a really smart pick. So trade back if you don't believe there are guys. And there's definitely options with a trade back. Number 1, draft protection for Joe Burrow. We already talked about it with Penei Sewell. They need some offensive line help. And the good thing is this is a good offensive line draft. I mean, it's a solid offensive line draft after Penei Sewell. And they're a good offensive lineman. However, there's no offensive linemen that are worth a top 5 pick other than Penei Sewell. However, if you move back to 10, 11, 12, there are other good offensive linemen that you can go out and get. I mean, a guy like Rashaw Slater, maybe a guy like Christian Darrisaw. Those are two really good prospects that I think could really help this Bengals offensive line. And remember, it's all about protecting Joe Burrow. He's your future quarterback. You cannot let him get injured again, and you need to help protect him, okay? It's a must, right? Joe Burrow is that future. If your offensive line is not good, you need to help the offensive line, and getting a guy like Darrisaw, getting another offensive lineman that can really help that offensive line, that's really going to help your team. So I think that for the Bengals, it's really a no-brainer to go out and get an offensive lineman for your team to really help Joe Burrow and really help that offense. Because if Joe Burrow has more time in the pocket, he's going to be better for you, and you're going to have better offensive results, and you're just going to be a better offense in the NFL, and that's really going to help you. So really drafting protection for Joe Burrow is my number 1 thing for this Bengals team, and you can either do that with drafting Penei Sewell, either trading up for him or sitting at 5 and getting him, or drafting a guy like Darrisaw at 10, 11, 12 after a trade down. Another option is drafting some defensive help, right? This Bengals defense is not one of the better ones in the NFL, and you definitely need help all along that defense. I mean, corner, I could probably say you need help. Linebacker, you need help. Up front, you need help. And, I mean, there's tons of names that you could go after. Guys like, a guy like maybe Micah Parsons, a guy like Patrick Surtain, Caleb Farley. Maybe you go after Kwity Paye, Gregory Rousseau. So there's tons of guys, okay, all over the defense. I don't really need to specifically say one guy or another guy, but I think there are a lot of options where you can go out and get some true defensive help. okay, for this defense. I mean, this defense needs help. They need a pass rusher. Probably Gregory Rousseau could be that guy. The only problem with him is, he only played one season at the University of Miami. He's a little bit raw, but I mean, the knacks and the physical traits he has, and the ability for him to bend and get to the passer and just the speed off the edge he has, that could be really special for the Bengals. However, he's a little bit inexperienced and raw, so maybe you sit on the defense for a while. However, I mean, this defense needs help. It's a must help, just like the offensive line is a must help. But I think that, drafting protection for Joe Burrow is definitely more important than getting some defensive help. But defensive help is definitely important. And then finally, this is kind of a luxury pick in a way, but maybe go out and draft Kyle Pitts. Okay, this is a guy I have not talked about yet in my draft breakdown videos so far. And he's a guy that could be really a special talent for the Cincinnati Bengals. Here's why. So, obviously, you want to surround Joe Burrow with offensive weapons. And maybe even a guy like Kyle Pitts is a guy you draft at number 5. Okay, he's a tight end from the University of Florida. And the only problem with Kyle Pitts is he's a tight end. You don't really typically draft tight ends that high. Obviously, you've seen TJ Hawkinson and Noah Fant go pretty high in the first round in the past few years. And you've seen tight ends go in the first few picks before. But I don't think Kyle Pitts is a really good talent, like really, really good talent. And that's because he's got great wide receiver skills, and I'll get to that in a second. But overall, I mean, Kyle Pitts could go at number 5. I mean, I've seen mock drafts where he goes at number 5 to the Cincinnati Bengals. I think he'd be a great fit, but I think that, probably, in my opinion, if you're the Cincinnati Bengals, you'd want Penei Sewell as your number 1 guy on your draft board. Kyle Pitts honestly could be your number 2 guy on your draft board. I think he's probably the second most talented player that the Bengals could draft or have the ability to draft. I think Pitts is one of those special talents where, you need to get Joe Burrow weapons if you want to have a good offense. He's got great weapons on the outside. Tyler Boyd is great. T. Higgins looked really good. Joe Mixon at running back. But you're lacking a true tight end. And Kyle Pitts is much more than a tight end. He's a tight end that can beat one-on-one coverage. And you see tight ends dominate in today's NFL. You see guys like Darren Waller dominate. You see guys like Travis Kelce and George Kittle dominate. You've seen a guy like Zach Ertz dominate before. Mark Andrews dominates. And Kyle Pitts is that similar dominating type. He's a big, tall tight end that is really physical, can beat you in that one-on-one space, is fast. He's basically a wide receiver. He's similar to a Darren Waller in that regard, who's really fast, physical, and yet he's able to go up and just jump over you and make a catch, and then he's got good speed to run away. Really just overall, I like Kyle Pitts a lot, and I think he could be that dream guy for Joe Burrow's offense in Cincinnati. I think he could be a really good fit there. But once again, tight ends are not typically guys that you draft in the top 5, just like you wouldn't draft probably a safety or an outside linebacker in the top 5. Those are not typically picks that you would go out and get. But once again, if you believe he's a special talent and an all-pro, Pro Bowl type caliber player, then you go out and draft Kyle Pitts. I think he'd be great for the Bengals offense. I think he'd be a really special guy in that Bengals system. But overall, if you don't truly believe in him, then I wouldn't go out and get him. For me, it's all about get Penei Sewell, and if you can't get Penei Sewell, then you trade back and you get Darrisaw at 8, 9, 10 because you need help on the offensive line. But overall, there's other options on the offensive line maybe in the second round too. So I love Kyle Pitts too. I think that could be a good option. Definitely on the defense side of the football, you need help. But I think those are really the options. But for me, it's got to be about you got to find a way to get Penei Sewell to really help this offensive line. And with that said, that's pretty much going to end the video for today. Did you agree with my analysis? Why or why not? Leave your comments in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Also, if you're new around here, please drop a like and a sub on today's video. I'd really appreciate that. Help my channel grow. With that said, I hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time, see ya.